Greetings, this is Friena Riamentra. Temporarily, don't have the all now, but I am currently going with, as for this season of Christmas, full Elven. Here. I would like to welcome you to my reaction to Critical Role Campaign 3 Saga Bell Cells Episode 41. This is my first part of it, as it's too long to do all in one reaction. Netflix has its own Twitch now? Well, anyway. Tonight, we return to Bell's house at where they last left off, I believe in the camp of lycanthropes. Be warned, I won't be having dinner right now because of time restraints. Fuck no. This will be the first actual Bell's House episode this month. And considering that the holidays are going around, I'm not sure how many they'll be able to have. It doesn't look like they're doing a Christmas special, so I think. Okay, it's so 2:15 stop time. Well, 2:13 really. So let's try. It's okay. Lines. So very comfortable. I hope you like the return of this pack setting. Before we continue, please note that I do not own nor am I associated with Critical Role, its YouTube or its Twitch channel, or any of its other online presence. I'm merely sharing with my fellow fans. Okay, while we wait, hang on, let me just check. Let me just get refresher of anything important that might have happened on this episode. Compulsion. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Okay. Don't expect correct pronunciations for anything. Have recently reached an argument. See what I mean? Agreement with the court of the U.S. With the ruling group there. To patrol and keep safe the roles in exchange for permission to keep living in the jungle in secret. They live under the guidance of Shayad, keeper of the savage heart, whom their status as humanoid with bestial heads in the center of town. One is a powerful ancient spirit of the jungle and the protector of both hunter and prey. Perhaps under the goddess of are out only and no, Annalene. I did warn you about pronunciations. Dinner and they talk further, learning that they sometimes have to kill or chain those who cannot control their inner beast. Asked if any strong constitution and will. If so, there's something they can try. He assures her that he does until them the rest. He tells them to rest for the night. In the morning, they will go to the temple of Shayagon. Forget it, I'm not pronouncing that. If Chetney is lucky, the spirit will meet with him and either give himself gain control or destroy him. The temple is about a day's travel, so they're heading to this temple to Chetney reflects about and challenge test. Given amidst the pouring rain of concrete makes it so that's what your he will pass the test because I'd rather not. No, Travis B had to go to a third character so soon. Tell said on last campaign, waiting to play a third character only at the special. Come to figure, so did Liam in campaign 1 with a search for stuff. Without starting to search for blood. And now for Critical Role.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of Critical Role, where a bunch of us nerdy-ass voice actors sit around and play Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh God, I'm scared. Sam is
Before we
missing.
get
I'm
into our
scared.
session tonight, we do have some announcements to get through, beginning with our first sponsor, which is Quip. Sam?
It's me, Ludo McGillicuddy. Welcome back to the Quip Public Domain Lounge.
Is there something different about you, Ludo?
I can't believe you noticed, Mork.
It's really hard to miss. You've really blossomed into something special.
Well, yes, my mouth is cleaner thanks to Quip's new rechargeable cordless water flosser. It's an easy-to-control water flow that leaves you squeaky clean. $5 replacement floss tips shipped every 3 months, if you know what I mean. Thank you.
That's a nice song, but I actually meant how you're turning into a sunflower.
I what? I'm sorry?
Look, if your body's going through some changes, it's nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah, you're a piece of work, Man Ray. You know that. The only change I've gone through is using this water flosser, which blasts away pollen. I mean plaque with precision. with a 360-degree rotating magnetic floss tip.
As expected, it's not even been a minute. It's
In all
already
the
into
right
chaos.
spots with the touch of a button. Yep.
Oh, that was also a very fine song, Ludo. It's just, look, your stem is really great. And those pedals, you should really be proud of the words. Be proud of how you look, man.
Ixnay on the hour flay, Magic 8 Ball, okay?
Look, I don't understand what's wrong.
If Quip finds out that I'm slowly becoming a flower, they're gonna drop me as their spokescrooner. Flowers don't have teeth.
Look, I'm sure they'll understand. Maybe I could take over the gig for you.
Nobody wants that, Mr. Mustard. Well, until next time, folks, it's me, the very human Ludo McGillicuddy, wishing you good flossing and reminding you to get 20% off a Quip water flosser when you go to getquip.com.
I used to use a water flosser.
Critical floss.
I think I stopped using water. It just went straight to mouthful.
Discounted bundles. I have
Why
very
not?
human teeth because I'm a human man. I don't self-pollinate because I'm not a flower. Bye-bye, Matt. Uh-oh. I seem to be stuck.
It's your roots.
Oh my god.
I'm not a flower, Manchego cheese. I'm actually kind of thirsty. Can you water me?
I don't want
Can you
to.
please?
Oh, that! That's what this is really leading up
Thank you.
to.
Water my body.
Aim for a stick.
Oh yes, so refreshing. Oh yes. Matt, back to you. I can't leave though because I'm rooted to the spot, so I'm just gonna have to stay here.
Okay.
I'll pluck you.
This episode is also sponsored by Thorum. Don't show him! Sit down, Sam! Sit down!
You can't show Stamen on Twitch.
Gonna sit right
Please, can we Photoshop in like some flower blooms?
Oh my god.
This episode is also sponsored by Thorum, makers of handcrafted unique wedding bands. Made out of everything from meteorites to whiskey barrels, right here in the US of A. Thorum has been making rings for 10 years now, and they take great pride in its amazing customer service, quality, and original designs, and not turning into sunflowers. Every single purchase includes a free silicone activity band and a wooden ring box. Bop-a-dop. So when you need to take the ring off and do stuff, you don't damage it. Plus, they make the process as easy as possible by offering ring sizers that you can just go ahead and get sized at home. So whether you need a wedding band, an anniversary ring, or you just want a ring that looks awesome, like one of these, head on over to thorum.com and use promo code Critical Role, one word, to get 20% off a truly unique and epic ring. Sunflower Man.
I have to do another ad.
I like how nervous the sunflower makes you. It always shakes just a little bit.
I was holding a semi-squat
Oh,
over there 'cause
God,
I didn't
yeah.
want people to see my wang.
I can see it.
Hey, we've got another sponsor tonight, D&D Beyond. Bring the War of the Lance to your table and become the hero that Kreen needs. Play a Kender and follow your curiosity for adventure and mischief. Join forces with the legendary Knights of Solamnia. Nope. Solmnia. maybe. Or the Mages of High Sorcery. Imbue your powers with lunar magic from Kreen's three mystical moons with an all-new lunar sorcery subclass. Fight against legendary villains like Lord Soth and face legions of draconians, dragons, and other servants of the Dragon Quinn. It's Quinn, right? Or Queen? Okay, you can purchase Dragonlance Shadow of the Dragon Queen today at dndbeyond.link/CRDragonlance.
Thank you, buddy. Laura, you got a couple things to talk about too, I believe?
Yep. We've got a T-shirt.
I should.
Beauty of Exandria in Motion collection. It's Ashton Graymore pocket T-shirt, and on the back it says,
Just don't.
That's pretty cool.
"Just don't." Here you go,
A pocket
Taliesin.
tee?
I actually already have one, but
It's pretty
Have we
fabulous.
ever done a pocket tee before?
The first
yes,
one.
the fern one.
Oh, sorry.
Also,
It's not that exciting.
this is part of the Beauty of Exandria, the Archives collection. It's a journal sticker set. Art by Grace Barrios. Look, because we've been wanting stickers that could go in our journals, and we have all these journals. But yes. No, they're like little misters and little frumpkins.
Oh my god.
And there's all sorts of things. There's little pet
Nice.
toys. And then you've got these little ones that you
Ollie,
can write your own
happy
stuff
brownie
in.
day.
There's, I know that I shouldn't
kid
show
you
off
not.
every single one of these things, but there's these ones
Actually,
and these
it
ones
was
and there's
yesterday.
all really cute.
The
Go
day
to
for
the
you
website
guys,
and
it's
check them out because I
well
love these
recorded.
and
Arrow cards and
I know, right?
If you missed out,
to play with. Ooh.
This is
You
look
go-
at all of
one day
these
grace
stickers.
period.
It comes with so many stickers. They'll be so great for journaling or for scrapbooking or for sticking on things.
Like your son, putting them on your forehead.
Yes, very much.
They did that. I thought it was
There's
gonna
Captain
be
Test Toots. Go check them out.
Awesome. Thank you, Laura. I think that actually brings us to the end of our announcements. So I think it's time for us to jump into tonight's episode of Critical Role.
What the?
One by one we climb until we reach the top. Two by two we fall. Will we beat our and don't beat our destiny? Hold your breath and roll. It's
Thursday night. All you
friends, come join us. It's time to continue our flight. There is magic and mystery. Who knows
what will happen tonight.
But one thing's for
For
sure.
sure, we never forget what falls aside.
From the healer to the renegade, we all share the
The same
goal. Adding more allies,
Taking more
chances.
chances.
Hold
Hold your breath and
roll.
you can certainly try. Thursday night. We critters will join us this time to continue. There's magic in mystery from darkness. Hurrah! The one thing for sure. Oh, get ready! It's Thursday night!
Welcome back. So, last we left off, Bell's Hells, in the wake of the loss of their friend and patron, Lord Erix Esteros, managed to prove they were not responsible for his demise, as well as agree to align the interests of Shishadri and the other members and or allies in and around the quorum of Drusar to find the one responsible, which you are pretty sure is the same individual that you fear may be hunting you, or you might be hunting them. But regardless, you were left a skyship, as it seemed Esteros was aware of his rapidly approaching fate. After acquiring the ship, he began to head to the southeastern direction to Aeshanador, in the city of Eos, the city of flowing light, where you have a few narrative threads to pursue, some figures you've been sent towards, and some mysteries that seem to lead in that direction. In flying over, and choosing to fly over the Hellcatch Valley, a brief tussle with a chimera that seemed to be hunting a number of cockatrices, and then eventually heading into and over the gloomed jungles of Aeshenador. There you found what looked to be a ruin of some sort of a military tower. And with the information that you had received from Ajit Dial, you, Chetney, in seeking the Gorgine, the sect of blood hunters that focus on controlling the beast of lycanthropy within, the group has stopped at your behest. And here you howled at dusk in hopes that they would hear you. They did. Along this journey, you did make a sending stone to our good friend Dorian, who did reply retroactively.
Oh, Orem. My heart aches that I cannot be there to help you. Find strength. Stay steadfast.
I have no idea what's the shipping route right now.
Is this thing on?
That guy's got a good voice.
Wow. You can listen to every book.
So cute.
Upon being nearly ambushed by the Gorgine, you prove to not be an antagonistic force to their ventures in life out here. And upon proving yourself to be one who has some training with Hemocraft and wrestling this beast within, they agreed to take you to their hidden village. Hidden village they refer to as Baronak. Here you were introduced to a number of the civilians that also lay under the protection of the Gorgine, themselves carrying lycanthropic curse themselves. There we go. That's a phrase and a half there. I appreciate the support, Laura.
I'm impressed.
Still wondering what.
And upon discussing your interests, the short time frame you have, and the recent unexpected control over your transformation that the Ruddy Moon Ruidus previously did not have, you are guided to the possibility of undergoing a trial within a specific location not far from where they stay, known as Zavrolo, the Temple of the Savage Heart. It is believed that Sayadon, which is one of the numerous bestial spirits that claims parts of this landscape their home and their domain, resides there. It is a holy site in which the Gorgine have taken it as part of their own meditations and rituals and various important training activities in dealing with their own challenges. So, you were given a place to stay for the night, and underneath the rainfall of the evening, you all found rest. So you can complete a long rest.
We threw the portable hole against the side of the tree and made it
And
sideways.
you held on to you up fuzzy.
Zavarola.
Zavarola. Yes.
Baronak.
Yeah, we have our.
Correcting my phonetic disaster over here.
So we might be going. We might have like some sort of a trial. Is that right? Tomorrow, or he.
Right,
I think Chet will have a trial. Yeah.
What are you looking at, Jenny?
Your destiny.
Fuck it!
I gotta think of some other killer one-liner. I could be in for hours.
I feel like I saved you on that. Now I feel bad.
It's raining and dark. Fuck. Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
I'm stoked. I'm amped.
Are you? It
Yeah.
seems like most of the wearers here are a little bit younger, more,
Wet behind the ears, amateurish. I was thinking the same thing. Have to show them how it's done. Show me the fucking leaderboard. Time for a new name to go up top.
Who are you winking
I'm
at?
setting the tone right now by destiny.
Grab a cable of this and this. A cable.
Oh, shit.
Just covered up my nerves. All farce.
Did you say that out loud?
Say what out loud?
Off to a great start.
Is it still
morning?
nighttime
What's
or is it
happening?
morning? What?
Oh, we got a long rest, Matt.
We said we are now getting a long rest.
Okay, I thought we got a long rest. Okay.
I wasn't sure when you guys were jumping in, if
Okay,
it was
so
before
we're
night or
sleeping.
morning
Okay.
of. But
I'm carbo loading and getting a long rest.
Okay. Long rest.
Well, didn't
Form sites are gone.
Stop.
Dev Sheila mentioned we'd be there to like assist you, right?
Yeah. Like a pit crew, if not more.
So maybe we'll be
Pit crew.
fighting alongside of you?
Hype men?
Cheering you on.
Sidekicks?
Who knows? Be ready for anything, though, like we always are.
We roll deep.
Yeah, but if this is really like a trial put in place by some sort of spirit, anything could happen.
Maybe all of us will turn into werewolves. Or were-boars. Or were-bears.
That would be
Like a-
incredible.
That's interesting. What would we be? It's who bites you? Or
Whatever.
Would you want him?
Is it whatever bites you? Or is like
You
if
get to
something bites
choose?
you, yeah, does it just like come out in your blood?
Let's
like
see,
I'm
get to
internally
choose.
a...
Let's go around.
Okay.
Ashton?
Well, I mean, clearly I would have to go with some sort of heavy reptile because it's the only thing that would make sense with the complexion. So, probably, like an alligator or something like that.
What about you, Warren?
Guess I'll go with a rabbit.
Solid.
A were-rabbit?
Were-rabbit. Were-rabbit.
Are you allowed to do?
Werewolf.
Are we allowed to be things that are not actually predators?
I don't know how it works.
You would have heard before.
This conversation
Spirit of this
was
realm.
odd.
Get back to you.
Foresight Dive. Go watch if you haven't.
Imogen?
I mean, I would say a werehorse.
Oh, nay.
I wonder if there's were-reindeer. There would be in my games.
I think it would be, or like I'm trying to imagine what it would actually look like.
Just a horse head on
Maybe like you wouldn't actually be able to walk
horse head.
upright, so you'd just be like.
You're just Bojack.
Yeah.
A horse head with the most beautiful purple mane.
You're just a My Little Pony at that point.
I mean, like that, even that's gone
Yeah.
wrong, even for My Little
know.
Pony.
Yeah. So console your spirits. Let me know if that's
Like
acceptable.
perception spotty. The rain fucks it up.
I mean, I'd probably be like a werequoca,
Oh.
or like
Oh God, no! Oh no!
What is it? What's that? Obera?
were capybara.
Capybara.
Oh.
Barra, damn.
Yeah,
That's real cute.
werebara.
Well.
Like a ship for the cuddly over here. Okay. F.C.G, get us right back on the meat eating path.
I came prepared.
A wereback.
A werebass. I want to feel the water
Why
against.
does it look like it has red hair?
Because that's the fur of the werebass.
Oh, because that's the werewolf part.
Yeah.
How scary.
I can't.
No.
Well, that's good. What about you, Imogen?
I mean, wait, did you just pull a Matt and call me Imogen?
Yeah.
Yep.
Amazing.
It's catching.
So
I mean, I guess like a were-rat, but like a big rat.
Oh.
You know, so I could roll with pate.
Like a where are you?
Yes.
Where Dirat? Where Dirat?
Where
Where Dirat? Where Dirat?
Oh my god.
Wow, what is happening tonight?
That's all. I just heard it.
This is the ripping depth and drama people come for.
Yeah. Well, this is the conversation happening from within the tree hole through the rain overnight as you're trying to sleep, and there's like the weird thoughts start intruding.
Oh, don't even lie, you guys playing D&D at home. You've totally wondered what hot werewolf-like rope you turn into. You know you do it.
Our audience is super horny. Let's be honest.
This is super authentic.
Yep.
Well, this actually begs a good question. You got bit by a werewolf.
Yes.
So and you turned into a werewolf. So it's not like
I did.
it's.
The beast chose me.
I guess we could talk to who was the hot one. Hang on.
Oh yeah, hot one was Green Eyes.
Tiger?
No.
Yeah, that's right. Manad.
Maybe we could talk to Manad and be like, did he get bit by a panther? Just manifest inside.
What was your? Oh yeah, you were the fish.
Just to be clear, you shouldn't. If it happens, you shouldn't seek out getting bit, because normally you have to be bit and then stop the rest of the biting process that leads to your death.
Right, because
Yeah.
it would just.
Just eat your ass.
But unless it's like, couldn't you just bite us and then we would become a werewolf?
Well, I mean, yes, but
And you wouldn't be like losing control or anything. You would just be doing it,
So a single bite can turn you, or like just a single bite can turn you?
Yeah.
Well, how do you? So what's the difference between like biting someone and then you kill them, and then biting them and then they turn?
Yeah, if you bite someone, then you kill them, they're dead. And then if you just bite them and they get away, then they have the potential to turn.
Potential.
Do you have to break the skin?
Yes.
All
I
right.
can't just like.
I don't know. Maybe your saliva's poison.
So you could kiss another person without
Sure you
turning
could.
them. It's
Oh,
not,
yeah.
It's not
Have
saliva.
you kissed anyone
For
since
a
you've
solid
actually?
hour, you can kiss all you want.
Transformation by Hickey.
A solid hour, just kiss.
I got at least a solid hour in that form, you bet. Them's the rules.
It's true. It's mechanically sound.
What if you haven't finished by then?
Oh wow.
Well, disappointment.
As the morning fog has taken the majority of the surrounding jungle air, you all come to consciousness in your cold, somewhat damp tree interior. Looking out, you can see the drops of the rain that's still filtering down through the treetops and canopy, just kind of dripping past the opening. You can see the shapes of the various little huts and constructed homesteads of Baronak. The shadow kind of through the fog, the shapes almost giving a dreamlike visage as you hear the sound of heavy axe falls on wood. A couple of voices in the distance. Looks like the village is awake in its own right and dealing with its morning chores. You're all a bit stiff from just being not in as comfortable sleeping space as you're used to, but the day is yours.
We could just fill that hole up with like mattresses.
Yeah, like along the sides.
Yeah. So
It's
it's
really hard
For it
to.
to dry out a bit, or else they're going to get all moldy, though.
It's kind of
But, like,
hard to
yeah.
sleep on a curve. That was weird.
Being on a white site.
I'll hop out and take a look around.
You hop out and you see some of the civilians kind of like stopping and glancing as you make yourself briefly known here in the morning air, and they go back to their errands. You do see there's a pile of what looks to be the packs that are kind of been placed out by one of the larger fire pit circles of stones. And you see Uvello, the Dragonborn, the green scale Dragonborn, and Manad both over there kind of packing materials for the day's journey.
Uvello.
Are we up? Are we moving? I'm gonna, just because I love seeing if this damages things. Once we're all out, I'm gonna try and wring the portable hole out, see if I can get some of the moisture out. Give it a good.
Oddly, didn't take much moisture. It feels pretty dry to the touch.
All right.
I'll wander over to the campfire, just real casually. Over to Uvello. Morning.
Good morning. You and your compatriots ready to make the journey eastward?
Oh, I think so. I mean, do we have a time to get a bite down, or is it game time?
Well, we can definitely feast a bit before the journey. You need to keep your energy up, but the sooner we leave, the best chance we have of finding a good place to camp for the night.
Oh, that makes sense. What are all are these packs for us?
Looks over Manad kind of like finishes putting the lid, the flap over one of these and kind of lashing it up and goes, "That's correct. We're look like we're rolling about 5 deep outside of you just to keep everyone safe. So
He's rolling 5 deep.
I heard it.
It's fucking hot.
Yeah.
I'll go back over to the hole. Let me rally. We're gonna try and get out early this morning so we have a chance to find a good place to make camp for the night before we lose the light.
I'm ready. Let's get going.
We can eat on the road.
All right. You do gather your things, and there is a collection of just kind of like dried tack and meat that they have prepped kind of universally for the trip if anybody needed it, but not enough to feed all of you, but enough that if a few people didn't have enough rations for the journey, they could probably fill the gap. But with that, you have Manad, Yuvello, Annalyn, or Devashila, which was the other name you were given initially from Ajit, as well as a female dwarf, which you had seen was the kind of transformed werewolf when you first arrived, and Uther, who was the older human, who was the werebore.
Uther, Manad, the werebear, we don't have the name of yet.
Wait, the dwarf was
The
a
dwarf
wolf?
was the bear, I thought. No, because the dragonborn was the werewolf.
That's what I wrote down.
It was Sheila?
But there was a tiger, wolf.
There were technically there were two werewolves in the group.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the...
Uther's a werebore, and there was a female dwarf who was one of the werewolves.
Okay, got it.
But the werebear we don't have yet.
Correct.
Bella, Manad, Annalyn, Uther.
Yep.
And we don't know the name of the...
I'll say you probably, in the evening, probably would have gotten the name Fresio. Fresio as the dwarf. But they've all kind of, within a short time this morning, put on their travel armor, put on their tools, put on their cloaks, gathered the materials. They all each pick up the packs that have kind of been set in the pile, and the energy amongst the crew is that they're pretty much ready to move forward. Is everyone prepped? Is there anything you wish to do before you head out?
How long did they say this trip to Zavrolo is going to be?
About 1.5 to 2 days, depending.
Okay.
I mean,
We need to communicate that to the ship.
Oh, that's a good idea.
What were you thinking?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I should let them know that. We should have done that last night.
Who will?
I thought we did last
Yeah, we definitely did.
If you had an extra spell slot before you went to bed last night, I could allow it. It's
Okay.
fine.
Yeah, that we sent them a message saying, it's gonna be a few days.
Yeah, unless
Hang
there's-
tight. Don't get in trouble.
All right, that's okay. We got plenty of card games. It's going to be a good time. Get back safe. Don't die.
Unless there's somewhere else to wrangle supplies around here, which I really don't think there is.
It doesn't seem like it.
Glancing about, it looks like most everyone here has what they need to survive comfortably within the village, but there isn't rousing commerce present here in Baronak. Most everything here is, stretched leathers and materials and tools.
For an art festival, I could buy some local jewelry.
Maybe in the back.
All right. Yeah, some food.
Craft fair?
Yeah, food stalls.
With that, you see Annalyn puts her pack up and kind of puts a short bow over her shoulder, goes ahead and kind of taps the side of her hip where the hammer is also slung over in like a leather harness that goes across the other shoulder. There's just like a large hammer on one shoulder and the short bow on the other. Looks at the rest of you. You see with the kind of the tangled hair and stuff kind of damp from the moisture, the surrounding fog and mist. Kind of brushes it back a bit and looks at the rest of you with her piercing eyes. All right, are we good to go?
Yeah, you're rolling 5 deep, 7 on our side. That makes us a were dozen. We'll workshop it.
That would be a very good idea, yes. All right, well, come, follow quickly. If you fall behind, yell. And the crew begins to go into kind of a moderate jog toward the eastern side of the village.
Fuck, I didn't know we'd be joking.
Cardio, man.
Starting to party all the way through the woods? Oh, fuck. God damn it.
The dense jungle immediately greets you. The evening before, when you were traveling at a brisk pace, being kind of chaperoned by the Gorgine through, it was a continuous series of thick-shadowed trees and just following in their steps for safety. They seem to have an eye out for the challenges and various opportunities to injure oneself, and were kind of watching for you as you went. Now that you have a lot more comparative visualization on the jungle around you, it is oddly alien and beautiful. As the fog still keeps the trees at a distance, these kind of shadowed pillars that slowly come to form as you move forward, kind of following their brisk pace. You can hear the sound of the various birds and creatures that live up amongst the canopies, and the occasional insect that kind of just coasts by your ear. But these trees themselves have this kind of pale, blanched, bark-like color, majority of them. And along its base, this thicker, black, dark gray-like bark that just smoothly looks to climb up, almost like it's some sort of an oily symbiote that is just kind of like wrapping up the tree. Uncertain if this is a separate kind of symbiotic entity or if this is just part of its exterior protective shell. But these trees, these trunks, all have their own unique patterns. They twist upward, the branches themselves kind of reaching outward, these long, thin, almost bony extensions like fingers that reach out and hold up these vast canopies of dull grays and dark, deep purples. You can see the leaves as they fall and scatter the ground. It's hard to tell which are in different states of decay based on just the spread of odd and muted colors. You can see there are bursts of bright, vibrant reds and oranges at times, and as you kind of scoot by and glance, you can see there are these patches of fungus, these widespread mushroom caps, almost like a series of clustered umbrellas, and they have distinctly bright colorations that stand out amongst the environment. Whether that be to warn from being eaten or as an invitation, you'd have to eat one to find out.
As we go by, can I just grab a little one and be like, Fern, are these?
Yes.
You were so quick with that answer. You must really know your fungi.
I do.
So do you want some?
Sure.
Oh my god.
How does it taste?
It's bitter.
I heard that dice. I heard that.
Did he roll? Yes, of course he rolled.
It's bitter.
It tastes not good.
Oh.
Probably needs to be cooked. I probably need to roll.
The flavor profile is shifting a little bit. The bitterness is giving way to almost like a citrusy sting on the back of the
Tastes
tongue.
like a little bit like a little bit of like a tangerine. A little pepper.
Oh.
That's a little weird. My tongue feels so strange.
I would like you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. It is 8.
Okay.
Vern's dead.
That like slightly kind of citrusy burning sensation just kind of begins to fill the inside of your chest. It's almost like a straight bourbon, how it just burns its way down and through. It's not painful. It's not odd. And as you're explaining this to Chetney, you watch his eyebrows kind of extend and wiggle a bit, and his features almost seem to like stretch in odd ways.
Oh, dude. Oh, no.
Taste brew for our lunch.
Oh, I think you're turning. You know what? I think I know exactly what this is.
What is it?
You know, you set the precedence, dude.
You look so crazy. I'm gonna keep some of this for later because I think I know exactly what this is.
Hey guys, are you coming?
Okay, onward ho.
So, the combination of mist and quickly moving shadows seem to like stretch at times. Trees almost seem like they're rubber banding past you, and keeping pace. You feel this kind of giddy sensation kind of billowing up within your stomach, and you find yourself having to like reach out and grab as you pull. Some of the Gorginian compatriots are kind of keeping an eye out, and you see Manad at one point kind of like catch your small of your back and go, "You all right?"
Oh, yes. Are you all right?
Quite fine. I saw you eat one of them mushrooms.
Make
sure you're feeling okay.
I am feeling so good.
Sure you are.
And did you want any?
Maybe when we get back.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna just stay about 5-10 feet behind you, and you just keep moving. I'll just keep an eye.
Why so far? I'm not gonna do anything.
His orcish complexion definitely darkened slightly as he kind of looks down.
Oh.
Well, just.
Oh no.
Ooh. I'm not that dangerous, but okay. It's a good idea.
You see, he kind of like gives a nod and then kind of glances over, and you see Annalyn, who's kind of up above looking behind, and gives like a hand gesture to it.
You should just go over there.
We'll keep him over there.
Okay.
He kind of gives you a grin. You are effectively poisoned for the next 24 hours.
Poison stash.
Wait, this is not a magical effect, obviously.
This is not a magical effect. This is just
a shroom effect.
Okay, so I'm just gonna.
So it's disadvantage on all ability checks?
Disadvantage on all ability checks and attacks.
And attacks? Oh, cool. Oh, jeez.
Well, somebody has a means of getting rid of it.
Here we go.
So, pressing through the area, you see more of these bursts of color. And the fungus does change, as well as some of the other local ferns and flora that exists around the base of these trees. The roots tangle and twist, and in between them you can see these sections of dark red ferns and bush that seem to spread out, almost like they're like one singular bush entity that keeps reaching out further and kind of claiming its stake in the middle of this jungle. Occasionally, you see the shadow of some sort of furred creature up in the boughs that kind of leaps away as soon as you end up making too much noise. There's definitely a vibrant ecosphere here, and it is beautiful in some ways, but also unsettling and kind of not nightmarish, but just very.
No, technically, he said
very unlike a natural space that you've walked through.
Like
at times, it almost feels like some sort of a grave shadow of a jungle, but everything here is alive and thriving from what you can tell, and the smell is earthy and fresh.
But I'm wondering, can you have a way to go
after rain period?
What happens if Fern becomes gets bitten by a werewolf?
Beyond. Occasionally, you
they're more reasonable to think because they'll eat it. They'll eat. Those are famous for eating animals.
Looks outward. Sniffs the air. For a second, you swear you see her features kind of just slightly extend into something slightly more feline before they recoil back into her. And she adjusts the path, and you begin to make a wider berth around. For the first day of travel, since they are technically guiding you, it is their ability check, but I want someone to roll for the Gorgini that are guiding you towards the temple.
Oh, Tar, you got it. Make it off, yeah.
You're the wolf.
That's how you start it.
Yep.
Alrighty.
Cheers.
So. The day progresses kind of in a somewhat, I wouldn't say quiet, there's a little banter here and there, but everyone's definitely focused on the goal at this point. There's still kind of a slight gap of comfort, or at least a careful distance that the Gorgini keep from the majority of your troop, both to keep an eye on you and also just a lack of familiarity and not necessarily a strong eagerness to engage on anything personal. But another moment does happen where Annalyn kind of stops everyone. Kind of looks around, and you hear from one of the nearby boughs. You hear two more. Annalyn goes, well, it looks like we are being hunted by twilight tigers.
What? Tigers.
And she kind of points up, and you see a kind of just barely visible up on one of the thick branches of the nearby trees above there.
Mirror image.
Mirror imaging yourself?
Yep.
You see this.
There's two imagings.
Was
that? Wasn't there always?
This muscular but lithe-looking tiger, but the most of its matted fur and I say matted because it looks wet in places. It almost has like an oily, slick glimmer to the outside of its fur. It is a dark black to gray in places, and where there would be tiger stripes, there's a bright white. And it's almost like a negative imprint of a tiger from what you'd normally expect to see. But the lines themselves kind of push backward as opposed to up and around. And it gives almost like a frozen in mid leap or movement, like it has its own blur lines across it as it stands still and growls. And you see two more begin to kind of peer down as one kind of leaps down into a nearby bush. And
Words of advice?
Quadrupeds, from what we can see.
they're quadrupeds. At this point, you watch as Annalyn kind of transforms into her hybrid form, the tiger physicality beginning to push through, those shoulders widening, the snout and teeth beginning to bare, and Annalyn growls back. You watch as Manad leaps onto one of the nearby trees, and his whole body forms and cracks. See the bones reforming into the large panther aesthetic as he kind of claws his way up onto one of the branches, leans over his tail, swinging as he... Every other member of the Gorgine go into their hybrid forms and kind of form a circle around your troop. And you
do the same.
I just put my hand out like Chris Pratt.
Easy, girl.
You got it.
Oh.
They all kind of bear this line there around the sides.
Do you have a were
see
raptor?
5 of these massive beasts, and now as they get kind of somewhat close, they're still keeping about 20 feet from you, but gauging their distance to nearby trees, they probably are from nose to tail about 20 or so feet.
What?
They are massive. They look smaller at a distance, and then they start to come out of the corners, and they are large beasts. At least the largest that you can see nearby is about that size. The others begin to curl around, and you do see the other ones are a little bit smaller than that main one. And you get the sense this might be like a family, or at least some adolescent ones that are traveling with some sort of parent. As the growls continue, because you rolled a natural 20, the Gorgine, with Annalyn as a leader, kind of leans forward and growls, and you watch as the largest one kind of and then begins to stalk away, and it circles around the other 4, and they all, as a troop, begin to just disperse back into the mists. And within 15 seconds, it's like they were never there. They just leap off into the distant horizon of the tree line, where the fog just swallows their shadowed forms.
Cool. I can only do this once a day.
Oh, no! Once every short rest.
Once every short rest. I said to myself.
Annalyn, is that right? Did you know those fellas?
No. But there are beasts like this that live out here. It is just important sometimes to
Are these actual beasts?
establish respect and hierarchy.
Are they monstrosities?
How did you do
Those
that?
are
With just sort of a show of force, or did you say something, or in case we need to do it?
If you encounter one of these beasts, just pray.
Make them recognize the alpha.
Please, let some of the Gorgine say.
They maintain their hybrid form, but begin to pick up their pace, kind of arcing in a rightward direction off the current path where they first begin to encounter the signs of these beings. But any sort of conflict there was averted at the get-go, and the rest of the day, before the night begins to slowly darken, the signs of sunset begin to acquire. And you get the sense now that you've traveled through this portion that, depending on the weather and the day, and it's been kind of cold, especially following the previous storm, the mists and fog hangs for the majority of the day of your travel. Thinner at times, thicker at others, depending on the rise and fall, the topography, and the root and tree-covered hills. But eventually, Manad kind of puts up a hand and says, well, I think we need to find a place to stop here and set up camp for the night. We're not too terribly far, I don't think. Looking at the thing, he seems he's like rubbing his hand along some of the trees, and he's looking for something. And he begins to continue his path around as Annalyn takes her pack off, and they begin to set up small semblances of camp. You can see that Uvelos were in the process of putting up long, thin cords across some of the nearby trees.
Oh. Not magical cords, just sort of
You can
tripwires?
tell, yeah.
What are you feeling the trees for?
Manad's still kind of looking. Well, when we come through, especially places that we travel to and from, we make sure to leave markings for ourselves. I'm just there it is. And you see him looks up, and there looks to be dual sets of claw marks that kind of cross in an X fashion. But they're balanced. The way that they're marked in looks like it was intentional. They're even on each side. As long as we're keeping eyes on this is the best way to track our way. So, if anything terrible happens to the rest of us, you can find your way back to Baronak.
Nice penmanship.
Yeah. The trees that look like maybe there's something growing on them, potentially. Were there trees like that within the camp? Like their actual city? Or was it?
Yeah, there were a few.
Okay.
But, there are many different types of trees here. There's just, those seem to be more prominent the further you've gone. If you want to make a nature check, actually, to see from your experience or study if you can pick out any specifics about them.
I've got a really high nature, so this one. 11.
You're not certain what types of trees these are necessarily, but it doesn't look like this is a parasitic organism that is separate from the tree. The way that it's almost like a smooth secondary bark that is built over it. Almost like how resin will harden into an amber, but if it was opaque and like a smooth matte black coloration.
I feel like to the touch, is it sticky or?
It's not sticky. It's hard. It's almost like a shell, but it looks like it seeps into parts of the kind of blanched, whiter gray kind of inner bark, and it does have this kind of odd, almost like climbing sense to it.
If I scratch it with my nail, does it come off, or is it really hard?
It's very hard, but if you scratch it hard enough, you get some residue off under your nail, and it just like any other bark, but it does seem to come off in almost like a powdered residue.
Interesting.
You see them setting up a small camp around.
There was a moment I was hoping for a rare tree. I was hoping they were trying to find the tree that was actually would transform back. And then
Trying to tickle a friend or something?
yeah, like just wake up, because maybe if you're a rare tree, you just kind of stop for a while when the moon.
Are you still?
Huh?
What?
Do they look like they're moving to you?
Yes.
Wow.
They're dancing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Your pupils are enormous.
Are you weirder than normal? Oh wow! Yeah, look at that. What did you do?
I just ate some food. I just ate just a little poof of a mushroom.
A poof?
Is that what it was?
Off of one of these trees.
It was just a little nibble. I thought you said it was fine.
Just a nibble. All mushrooms are totally fine.
You don't know anything about mushrooms, do you?
I know a little bit.
You know that there's one that makes you all sorts of weird at this point, I suppose.
Okay.
But no, sometimes being in an altered state like this can sort of give you insight into your own desires, your own goals, your own fears, your own truths.
Sure.
Is there anything on your mind that you want to explore or talk about or sing or dance or just be?
Oh.
Who do you think is the hottest one out of all of us?
That's really weird. I don't know if it's a truth serum. Well, maybe it's a truth serum. Sure.
Well, I mean, you all have your own special parts that are great.
Who do you think is the hottest out of the werewolves that we're with? Say Manat.
Wow. Yes, Manat.
Yes.
Goodness.
Feels like almost like a cheap answer at that.
Yeah.
F.C.G, can you?
Can
Oh,
I recognize hotness?
No,
Take a little bit.
Can you get a little trippy?
Can you get turned?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Here.
I don't
Really?
eat things, but
Really want
maybe it will make me
do this
feel.
to another?
Can you be poisoned?
I don't know.
Put
We'll
it
find
on your
out.
tongue. Let's see where this goes.
That's where it's at.
It's like precisely the sorts of people
It's
that
not
your
real.
creator should not
Do you want
have.
some?
And I think it is. It comes up constantly.
I would love to. I would love to feel what you're feeling. Sure.
I'm gonna put it on the end of the tongue and I'm gonna roll it in.
There's no tongue.
Like Looney Tunes.
I mean, couldn't you like do a mind meld? You're like crazy.
I could just sort of go into your mind and feel it, but let's try this first and see if it works.
Okay.
Okay.
Because you're technically you're doing.
Why? By introducing a natural phenomenon to a natural space? Yes, it is actually my fault. You're right. It is my fault.
Chet, if this works, the next thing is you've got to bite letters. All the experiments happen tonight.
There it is.
This
So,
is how we celebrate.
You take the remainder of this chunk of cap that you had kind of swiped as you passed by, and it is like it's soft, spongy texture to it. The top of it has an orangish, almost peach coloration to it that goes to a darker red around the edges, and the underside of it is kind of a paste gray almost. In the way it has this odd mealy texture to it, but it's dry when you touch it. You go ahead and imbibe it, and it just kind of like ping, 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 like plops down inside. Nothing to report within the first few minutes.
Do you feel anything? Completely connected to the whole network underneath the earth?
Oh, let me. I'll touch the ground and see if I can feel anything course through me.
No, you're not.
My hands or anything.
Feels like the ground.
Try taking a little more. That always goes well.
Well, it hasn't kicked in yet. Maybe I should try some more.
No.
I don't want to say a-hole, so you glute gap.
30 minutes go by.
I guess I'm just not suited for experiences like that.
You have a robust constitution, and you just are set up for a different version of it. Go for it. With permission.
I could go into your mind, but you seem like you're doing fine. If you want me to, I can, but I don't need to. I want you to enjoy this on your own. You're just having your own time, and that's fine.
How many hours has this been going on for, by the way?
At this point now,
I think 4 days.
That tracks.
Or 15.
With her,
It's unclear.
Yeah, sure.
make a
Come on.
constitution save.
Hi.
Oh,
Hey.
is this a poison?
Oh my
It
god,
is.
you almost.
I'm resistant to poison.
Resistant to it, but are you immune?
Not immune.
Correct. So do you have advantage on checks against poison, or?
Well, isn't that what resistant means?
Resistant means you take half poison damage.
Oh, got it. So I'll take the first roll. And what is this? A Constitution save?
Correct.
I was very good. It was 17.
17. So you do feel an odd kind of tickle through your
The fact that
body, almost
a
like
mechanical life form,
like when you're nearing a thunderstorm and that sense of
affected by a
electricity is kind of
biological-
just coasting through the atmosphere, and you feel that vibration through your body for a
It's a little
moment. It just kind of
disconcerting.
rests there. It's gentle and then slowly just fades, but you felt something.
Yeah, that's something.
I do still have that weird baggie of drugs that.
Okay, look, we're going to a trial.
Give it to me. Let's take that too.
What's a bird lady? What's a Justy?
Yeah.
remember the task at hand.
That's definitely a for later.
Seems like now's the time.
Let's
When we succeed.
I'm so excited that we're in the middle of the jungle acting like a bunch of assholes. This is kind of what I always wanted in life, but
You know what? Actually, while you're like this, I wouldn't mind just asking you, because you might have some sort of special insight into the world or whatever. I've been trying to commune or talk to this god, this thing, this change bringer person, and she's been sending me. She's been sending me some really weird mixed signals.
Yeah.
Oh, like when I first tried to reach out to her, Lauden died,
Yes.
and but then we got her back,
Yes.
and so I thought, that's good. That's a positive and a negative, and then
I'm not sure.
and then we did.
I think you just had to
then
stop and remember.
Ashros died,
Oh yeah.
and then
We gained a life.
Yeah.
We lost a life. We gained
And-
one.
I've got an
We
area,
lost
a
another.
sky ship.
Yeah, sky ship.
What she doesn't. I don't know. There's just been a lot, and then I asked for a sign while we were on the sky ship, and we got attacked instantly. So I guess what I'm saying is there's been a lot of positives and negatives,
Okay.
and I just don't know how to interpret that. And maybe with your clairvoyant, your vision now, you can sort of give insight into what you think it all means, if there is meaning.
Well, I think there's a possibility it could all be bullshit. But maybe it also could be real. That's what faith is, I hear.
Faith is maybe bullshit, maybe real.
I don't know. Do you want me to see if I can connect with whatever this
Yard.
thing is and ask on your behalf?
Seriously,
because I can.
Why ask the druid?
I sure can.
You can?
Yes.
All right.
Give me just a moment.
See if you can reach out to the change bringer.
To be fair, she's the only other wisdom.
Change bringer, please answer me.
Make a perception check. With disadvantage, you're poisoned.
Among other things.
Okay. 10.
Okay.
Among other things.
Concentrate and you focus, and you can hear the various insects and night creatures that have begun to emerge from their subterranean holes or kind of hideaways carved into the nearby branch and trees. And the hum of them seems to almost begin to collide and swirl, and it almost creates this kind of low rhythmic music. Then it's arrhythmic, then rhythmic again. You feel your heart almost be trying to beat in rhythm, but then it keeps changing. Your body's trying to keep up, and for a moment you almost swear you hear a voice go, "Hi."
They just said hi.
Ask a question, maybe. Am I on the right path?
Okay.
Or do they know who I am? Or
Okay. Hi, this is kind of a two-part question, but do you know who F.C.G is, and is he on the right path? Are they on the right path?
Either way.
Hi. And you kind of like feel a direction from it. You look down, and kind of on your knee, you see this tiny little black beetle. It's looking up at you. It's kind of legs out, and it has this like humanoid face, and it just looks up at you, and it goes, "Hi."
Oh. Are you the change bringer?
Hi.
Oh,
I
wow,
can't
didn't
tell.
know you would look
What the
like
frick is
this.
this? What?
Did you make the decision about Laudna?
The wings unfurl and it starts flying up and kind of lands on your forehead. And as it does, you kind of feel this like warm hug coming around you, like the embrace of a deity. You just watch this bug just kind of
I think that the change bringer is reaching out for a hug for you.
Is this all just hot? Hi?
No, you. I think that's fully accepting you.
Oh,
Yeah.
metaphorical high. I don't need to hug the bug or anything.
Well, maybe you should give it a try.
Don't squash it, please.
Give it a big hug.
I'll try to not squish it. Here, I think it wants you back.
All right, well, you should go, and thanks for talking to us.
as it takes off, you hear, "Love you."
Oh, love you too.
There's a little trail of color behind it as it goes.
Excuse me, Luther? How much time do we have left before we get where we're going?
Probably looking to arrive sometime tomorrow midday, maybe early afternoon. We're not terribly far. We intentionally built Baronak to be close to this temple.
Our friend might have eaten a mushroom off a tree. You
Why did they do that?
I ask that question on a daily basis.
How gonna be like this forever?
Yeah, what's the time frame?
As long as you get her enough water and we can maybe get some more in her stomach, she'll be right as rain by midday tomorrow, I think.
Okay.
I don't think she will have anywhere. I have to go through this.
All right. We'll just keep an eye on her.
He gets back to whittling something. At this point now, night has definitely overtaken, and the little bit of light that you have exists here in this little campfire in the center of this jungle pocket. You can hear the kind of crackling sound, just a little bit of just warm light that kind of fills and flickers the inside of this jungle hollow. As you're all kind of
Ouch!
Why does the smoke keep hitting me? Oh, God!
While you're all kind of taking this moment, you have noticed off to the side, Annalyn has been kind of just taking the hammer and kind of spinning it a bit and kind of practicing her own combat form. She's kind of away from the troop. Kind of keeping that kind of standoffish energy. After everyone finishes their evening meal and is kind of settling in for the night, you, Chetney, hear the hammer in the kind of ground and dirt next to you. And Annalyn leans down from kind of over your shoulder and just says, "Walk with me."
I'll be back. You need any help? You need back? Oh my God. Oh my God.
She guides you a little ways out into the mists and fog of the jungle. As you walk, not kind of looking at you, she just kind of continues to talk to you. "So you have learned a few things. You have taken on some lessons of hemocraft."
Some. I feel like the basics, maybe.
Are they near a level up?
Show me what you
got.
Have we taken a short rest?
You would have, yes.
Okay. Then I will again transform into my better self. And I will. I don't want to do it to her. Oh, I will. I'll take out my chisel and I'll draw it across my pec. Yeah, when you see the chisel, alight with flame. Huh?
Like you said, the basics.
Oh, I mean.
She kind of just stands there with leaning on the hammer a bit. "So you've come here for a rapid epiphany to essentially cut the corners and acquire more of the path of the lichen."
Oh, drop right back down to Chetney's size. Well, kind of. I mean, no, I was interested in learning as much as I could, but now I'm kind of with a group and we're taking on incredible things in the world. What I do actually matters. For what seems like might be the first time, and so I feel like the more I can learn, the more I might be able to help them, but the more I keep this form, the more I feel, the more I see, the more I can do. I found that I can actually manipulate others a little bit, as long as they have blood.
And this was with the basics of training. You've just sort of stumbled your way into this.
Yeah. I was kind of given an ultimatum. Figure it out or get wrecked.
That is a very effective teaching tool given the circumstances.
Yeah.
So you, why do you want to harness this? What is the purpose? Is it fun? Is it the rush of power? The killing instinct within?
Yeah. No, I don't mean to be insincere, but it is a great allure. I'm not going to lie. I've spent hundreds of years really not being much of a threat to anyone, and it's okay. I don't mind being overlooked, but this is an incredible gift. I don't view it as a curse. I know some might, but I view it as an opportunity to make change, to help, or to affect other areas. You know, help make the world a better place.
You know, for as much as a small, ragged, prickly persona you maintain for an exterior, there's a soft inside, and you see she kind of like pokes you in the belly. Does that bother you?
I mean, you got a hard finger, yeah.
You've got a lot more to worry about than this.
If you continue on this path, you realize
What do you mean?
you will always be hunted.
Because we're like this?
Yes.
By
People
who?
fear what they do not understand. And to be completely honest, we are the few that can live with this.
Yeah, your group. How many would you say in a year? Don't take to it as well.
I'd say each year we have about 3 to 4 new arrivals, and about 3 to 4 that we say goodbye.
Oh.
It's challenging to maintain a society when the very essence of what brought you together is a continuous day-to-day struggle.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel that a little bit more of late. That fucking moon.
Apparently both of them in some situations, but I know we do our best to maintain an idea of this curse as a blessing. And for us, it has allowed us to do many great things. But it doesn't mean we've conquered it. This is a struggle we will live with for the rest of our lives. And not everyone has the mental fortitude to fight that long.
Yeah, life can be long. It can be short, but boy, it can really be long sometimes.
Before I was leading this troop, there was the one who taught me, Omithor. They were an old member of the Order of the Lichen, a splinter of the Cleric Orders, which you said you encountered.
Yes.
They were one of the individuals that spearheaded the creation of the Gorgine. I looked up to them immensely, and they taught me most everything I know.
What happened to Ormathor?
Ormathor. One day they woke up and they didn't want to fight anymore. And let it take over.
Oh.
Not because he couldn't. He just grew tired. I tell you this because I want you to know that if this is indeed something you want to harness, something you want to take into this temple, you want to beseech the beast to be a part of you, you have to learn to live with it. It's the shadow of a roommate that never goes away. I won't let go, like Omithor did. If anything, the more I think on it as years pass, I think he did what he did to show the rest of us what we can never become.
I appreciate you looking out for me and sharing that. But I don't know how many years I have left anyway. I can't imagine a world in which I didn't take this exciting chance and see it for all that it's worth. That doesn't mean I want to give myself over to it. That shit's fun, don't get me wrong. Whew. But I think I'm okay with that shady-ass roommate you talked about. I think I can cohab.
This is good to know. But I suppose only Sayatan knows for sure if you are of strong enough will to be let free.
Oh boy. This trial, if you don't pass, Do you get like a second chance? Best of 3?
Every trial that's granted by Seadon is tailored to the individual.
Oh.
So, I do not know what lies before you. But I hope for the sake of you and your compatriots that... you'll figure it out.
Oh, shit, that was slick. I know this is a serious thing, but man, I'm pumped.
Good. So you've picked up some blood runes. Show me your glyph work.
Oh, shit. My glyph work?
Yes. You know how to strike a singular rune, but that is simplistic. Carve a symbol, like this, and you watch as she takes her finger, and she has this, her thumb, which has kind of a normal kind of stubbed nail that's just kind of worn down through use, and Tiger Claw seems to emerge from it suddenly and strikes like a curved C shape that kind of into your chest where you drew that cut earlier, and it hurts.
Oh, yeah.
But as it does, the flame on your weapon kind of burns a little bit brighter.
What was that?
Glyph work. You instinctually have learned or picked up from your previous training the most basic of lines of power through hemocraft. The blood itself is a very strong catalyst, but you are using it as a raw material. You are accepting it just as the most basis of mineral, as fuel for the magic. You need to practice and refine. And then you'll be really surprised at what good you can do in this world, if that is indeed what you seek to do.
That sea was amazing. How many runes are there?
You watch her, she takes her hand, and the fingers now all have that kind of tiger claw, and as she curls it together, you feel this like burning, searing sensation in your exposed chest, and you look down, and indeed, the glyph of castigation, the brand that you have recently learned, which has always been like this kind of very simple, kind of semicircular, just kind of like a series of dragged claw marks in places. It looked more like a bestial brand than a glyph. When you see it burn into your chest, you look down, and the claw marks seem to form a fractal pattern. And as it kind of spreads out, and then spreads out further, and then spreads out further, it clicks in and glows this bright red coloration, and you feel this kind of like cold anchor that's drawn in her direction.
That's beautiful. Beautiful attention to detail. How?
It's like calligraphy. It just takes practice. Now. And she dispels it, and you watch the glyph kind of releases on your body. And she walks over to one of the blanched trees and pulls out a pocket knife, hands it to you. Let me show you. And for the next few hours into the evening, she just begins to show you the basics of advanced glyph work, explaining to you that through practice and time, this will allow you to further develop and expand upon the basics of hemocraft that you've kind of instinctually stumbled through. So this thus begins a brief compounding lesson for the future.
I trade her. I'll hold on to the pocket knife unless she wants it back, and I'll give her a detailing chisel.
This is a very curious knife.
Just in case I don't make it tomorrow, which I will. But listen, just something to remember me by if you really want to get serious about your detail. It's all about pressure and angle.
Oh. Appreciated.
Of course.
Tucks it into her armor.
Fucking pocket knife, basic ass edge. It's really nice, though.
But probably well into the early morning, you kind of go through these practices, swap a few stories. You learn a little bit about her history, about Devishula was what she called a name from a previous life before acquiring the curse, and was, before training amongst the Gorgine. She expresses that she was a student, actually, at the Dial Hall of Drusar when she was younger, and knew the Dial family growing up as a student. When the curse found her, she vanished from the city for obvious reasons, took the name Enelin.
Yes. And did she talk about what her experience was with that first lichen?
There was some sort of a mislabeled delivery towards the northeastern port of the Odiran Wilds. I was sent that way to visit an uncle, and they were supposed to be receiving a package, a gift. And this lichen was temporarily unleashed. I don't really know why or how. Though I get the sense that it was to deal with the Ivory Syndicate, from what Ajit told me. If you ever encounter a pale-ass elf with brown hair past the ears, bright amber eyes, scar under his mouth to the left-hand side, ask if his name is Dorao.
Dorao.
And if it is, kill them for me.
Dorao the dead.
She grabs her hammer and sits up. Well, we have a little travel to do. We should get some rest.
Cool.
What were the markings? Dural's markings?
Scar
Part
of the
on
mouth,
left
down.
mouth around there. So, night's rest comes to a close. You all get a long rest.
Long rest.
The morning comes.
Do they just sleep out in the open air, like around the fire?
Some of them sleep out in the open air. Manad sleeps up in the tree boughs, kind of like leaning against one of the branches, kind of keeping one eye open. And Annalyn, you don't know where she sleeps. She never comes back to the camp.
Oh.
But when you all come back to your waking selves, somewhat rested, though, cold in the, foggy morning here in the middle of the jungle, Annalyn has returned and is currently in the process of throwing ash and rock over the fire to go ahead and prevent it from catching or continuing on to ember. At this point, Manad kind of glances around to the rest of you after a brief bit of breakfast is had. All right, everyone, looks like we're ready to head out. Got a handful of hours until we're out there. Everyone feeling okay?
Were you able to sleep at all?
Mushroom check. How are you doing?
I slept, I think. I just see like
wow,
it's moving pretty fast, but I'm doing great. How do you feel for your big trial?
Oh, I feel good.
You feel ready?
Yep.
If you succeed, when you succeed, because victory isn't. Yeah, it's not it's an attitude. It's a way of being. You got to be it.
Mindset.
It's a mindset. Yeah, but when you're victorious, do you have to pick like a wolf name or something?
Oh, I don't know. I hadn't thought about that. I don't even know. Maybe I could pick another form. No, that can't be right.
I don't know.
Anything's possible. No, it can't be right. Maybe it is.
Wait, what form would you pick if you could choose? We never asked you that last night.
Cockatoo.
Oh, you'd be a
They're
really
smart
good, yeah.
as fuck.
What
They
would
talk.
the color of the plume be?
Yep.
Fits, oddly.
Like a peach plume?
And then you'd fly. Who wouldn't want to fly?
I love flying.
Yep. It changes on the daily. I'm a little fickle.
I don't know. I think you wear a wolf well.
Thank you, Orm. I appreciate that. I do my best.
You can bite less.
And if I was a cockatoo, they would just be like nibbles.
Right.
Unless I don't like you, and then them some bitches hurt real bad.
Yeah,
Birds
birds
can be
bite
dicks.
real hard.
Yeah.
Beaks are scary.
Is Annalyn back, by the way? Annalyn is back in the group.
Is back in the group, yeah. Everyone's kind of finished up their morning ritual. Yeah.
I just have a question. We've kind of been wondering. Do you choose what where beast you turn into, or is it?
Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
at the moment of infection, yeah, the Great Spirit of the lichen beast comes to you and asks you to step through many doors, and each door is a different beast, and you select which door to go through. I almost went with
doors were there?
There was about 37 of them. They're expanding every year, though. They're trying to. No, each strain carries the beast in it. I'm sorry. I saw the gullibility open, and I couldn't stop myself.
okay.
I
It's in a
just,
fragile state, right?
I understand. Look, it was all in good fun. I feel bad now.
Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad.
But yeah, it's lycanthropy. Every strain comes in its own variation. I don't quite know what the origins are for each one, whether they be magically created or what sort of lycanthrop bloodline curse may come from. But no, if you get bit by a werewolf, you can become a werewolf. If you get bit by a wereboar, you become a wereboar. It's just kind of.
Have you ever seen a werehorse?
Thank you.
You watch as Manad furrows his brow, trying to comprehend what the hell that would look like. And goes, I don't.
Herbivores in general.
Yeah. No, as far as I know, most everything is predominantly predatory in the basis of the curse. Be real. Wouldn't be all that helpful and or dangerous if you became a beast that just ravaged all the nearby plants.
So that depends on the plants.
I agree.
Savage kick, though. Where, deer? Not so bad.
As far as I know, at least. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm no expert. But, could always be something different.
It's a big world.
Moose or
Werewolves would be
territorial, right?
scary as
Yes.
I've never
Oh
seen
my
a
god, can you imagine how big a weremoose would be?
Real big.
Where giraffe?
Would the weremoose shrink when they became a person? Right. Oh, man.
Well.
Okay.
How about you go ahead and chew on this twig for a bit while we're walking and just keep yourself focused. I think we're gathering up and we'll start making our way eastward.
Why have we never...
Is she still poisoned?
Is she still poisoned? Wait, is it? Did you give her a twig because it helps with the mushrooms, or is it because she looks like a deer?
Or maybe just because of the jaw, like
Yes.
she's clenching her jaw.
Oh.
No, just to help.
Thought he was profiling for a moment.
Sweet. Sweet when it's trying.
Legitimately the very least I could do.
What's the most?
Oh my god.
All right, let's
I'm
just
just
go.
kidding. We're walking.
He just darkens his shade a little more and just keeps walking. But you can continue on for a few more hours. You do sense the toxins begin to subside within your system, and your vision comes back to a clearer, more controlled space. I would like somebody to roll a d20.
Hey, the singing stopped.
Would you like to roll a d20?
All right.
Marisha Ray.
Sure. 6.
6. Okay. Well, the good news is they're good trackers.
All right.
So along this path, it isn't as much of a beeline as you would hope. And Annalyn and Uvello and a few of the other members have to stop a few times and take a few large curves from the general path as Annalyn kind of glancing about, telling you all to be quiet and stealthily follow. We're starting to get near some of the more dangerous beasts and their domains here in the jungle. The powers of this temple tend to gather attention, subconsciously as it may be, of some of the larger civilians of this expanse.
More dangerous compared to the Twilight Tigers that were
Oh.
massive. No, they're nothing.
Size isn't everything.
Yeah. I really looked to Laura.
You had to roll a 5 or lower.
Yep.
To get into a bad scenario here. Damn it. They're good trackers. But you do eventually follow them into the kind of mid-afternoon or so, about 3 or 4. The mists have mostly burned off, but you can feel the temperature beginning to slightly cool as the what was a very sunny sky above the canopy begins to fall back into cloud cover, and the night begins to announce itself slowly arriving. You watch as Manad turns back to the troop. Keep your weapons and wits about you. We're not too far from it, so I guess we'll be showing you one of our little secret hideaways.
Wait, weapons and wits. What do you mean? Does it like spring out at you, or?
No, it's a temple, but like I said, a lot of things sometimes take up residence in there, and we're not aware of who's camping up in there.
Right.
And did we ever tell you much about this temple?
I mean, no, not really.
I'm just gonna cast mage armor on myself just to
Okay.
have it.
I'm gonna just go over to Chetney and just be like, "You got this today. This is all you today, right?"
Yeah.
All right. I'll just give him a pat on the back and cast Death Ward on him.
All right. All right.
No, you didn't tell us about the temple. I wrote down Zavralo, Temple of, and that's it.
The Savage Heart.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's the temple of Seyaran, which is the keeper of the Savage Heart. I'll be honest with you. When I went through my trial, I saw something different than what everyone else here is. It's not a singular beast, but it seems to be kind of a representation of the feral protective spirits of the Gloom Jungle, or at least this area of it. So, I can't really guarantee what you're going to run into, but it is a powerful spirit. It's said that it kind of looks over the order of nature, the cycle of it. It is both a protector of and a guide to both hunter and prey. It knows that in order to live, that balance has to be struck. I think that's part of why I felt drawn to this part of my Marquette to begin with, and we were trying to find a home, and we couldn't really find much rest up to the northwest. So, it kind of looks up ahead to see if anyone else is, watching anything beyond your group here in the jungle, kind of briefly glances about. There was a short time during the Apex War that it became a secret military outpost for the Stratos throne.
What? Wait, this temple?
Yes.
All right.
Wow. It was briefly occupied and used as kind of a basis of operations for some sort of group of operatives hoping to strike out at Eos and some of the more sensitive elements of Shenandoah. But,
Is there shit still around, or is that like, there's like bits of it?
you can see bits and chunks, because it seems that Seyadan definitely took it back herself.
Fuck yeah.
The beasts of the temple sent them packing and fleeing, kind of left a bunch of their stuff behind. We've co-opted what we could find that was useful, and kind of, not sure how much we're supposed to clean up, since some of it could be just kind of a reminder and a war trophy for the spirits. So we just let it lie where we find it for the most part, and ask for forgiveness or for permission if we find anything of usefulness.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Were you around? How long ago was that? That's not me asking, I would know. But
Yeah, a couple decades ago.
Okay.
So unfortunately, when they fled, they did a bit of damage to the temple. It's kind of elements of it partially crumbled and forgotten, but we managed to uncover it and make do with what we could muster. And the central chamber is still pretty much there, which is good. So, just to give you expectations, it's not some grandiose structure that's beautiful and standing untouched and, basking in the middle of the daylight. It is, it's a partial ruin, but it's got its beauty intact for the most part.
So this Seyadan resides there?
Oh, here and everywhere a little bit.
And it's the remains of an outpost, and also sometimes creatures from the area wander in?
Well, the temple was briefly used as an outpost before it was then evacuated once more.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said even earlier than that sometimes some of the wildlife from the area.
And then the nature of the spirit of the temple just draws some of the more natural and sometimes unnatural creatures towards it by the, it's kind of a power hub, if you will, of different spiritual energies.
How long have you been living in Baronak?
Oh, we've only been here for, I don't know, a number of years, 5-6 years or so since we built it.
Got it. All right.
Yeah, we've been moving around for quite some time and kind of heading through the continent as we go, but it's the first time that we struck an agreement with the recorded the Lambent Path, or at least our contact there, and felt safe enough to put down some roots.
It's nice. It's a nice feeling, I'm sure.
Honestly, yeah. Been a while since we're the kind of place we can call home for a bit, so. But anyway, we often are feeling like we're having a rough time with our struggles or just need some clarity in mind. We'll go ahead and make a small pilgrimage out here to the temple, whether it be independently or as a troop, and that's where we'll go through and look for inspiration, bits of prayer, maybe ask for a new challenge from the spirit, or just leave offerings, take some time to meditate, clear our minds. It's, it's part of the reason we built our village close enough to do that. It feels like one of the few ancient pure spots that hasn't been co-opted or built over by some of the nearby civilization,
Do you always get a response from the spirit of the savage garden? Savage heart?
Sorry. Good song.
Sometimes it can be my wish, it can be my fantasy.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I've certainly felt it and conversed with it when I went through my initial trial, and sometimes it's just a feeling, a presence, a protection, or feeling like something's watching out for you, as long as you show the respect that it's due. But like I said, form can be different for whoever's reaching out to it. For those who aren't coming with the purest of intent, well, you'll see what happens to them.
That doesn't sound like a full comments.
You'll see. You'll see.
Are you feeling pure today? Jenny's like the least pure person.
I agree. What? I'm 100% pure, Stunner.
Pure feels vague.
And does Chetney have to go in on his own?
No, I mean, we're all going to be going into the temple here. We want to show you around, make sure you're not following any pit traps, or, if stuff starts going bad, we can try and evacuate you out of there. But, I mean, I don't know what the trial's going to necessarily represent. That's for you to find out, and for all of us to be at the ready, I suppose.
We're there. We'll be there to help you if you need it.
Hope it's just endless supplies of wood.
Yeah, like a carving challenge?
Oh, boy.
That might be it.
That feels like that's probably what it's going to be.
It's probably going to be woodworking based.
That'll warm up the rights. Okay.
Oh, do we get to be the judges? And you have like a time limit? It's a good show. I'm just saying.
It kind of like wipes a little bit of moisture and snot from the end of his nose and goes, I'm not going to lie, that'd be a lot of fun. We'll kind of mix it up from the usual. Fingers crossed. I'm with you on that one. Anyway, keep eyes ahead. We're not too far. And within another couple hours of travel through, the pale, blanched and blackened trees begin to transition in places. They don't fully fade away, but their density and kind of monochrome cluster. Kick my leg out from under me, Lord Bailey.
Sorry.
You see more cerulean
read what's
leaves,
on her
pops of different types of trees that begin to come through the further eastward you travel. These have a deep maroon type trunk to them, thinner, not as thick as the masses of the jungle trees that you've seen, but these have like a thick brown maroon coloration. As they rise up, there are these kind of almost cotton-like plumes of blue that grow out of the branches. These like softer bits, and they just kind of dot the landscape as you go.
I've never seen trees like this.
Yeah, you don't really see trees like this anywhere outside of the Gloom jungles. There's something about I don't know, something in the air, something in the soil.
It's how I imagine a Feywild would look.
Yeah. A little bit. Yeah, I think I've seen things like this. A little bit. Different colors.
See, Luther kind of comes from behind and goes,
Some folks ought to come out here and take some of these trees and try and sell them off land, but they don't take really to any soil or roots outside of it, outside of magical enchantment means. So it's really expensive to get any of these to keep to a garden somewhere. There are those that do, and I'm sure there's a fine business trade for that somewhere here, but marvel and take it in. You won't see much of this elsewhere.
Does it look like Fey stuff that
Yeah.
you've seen before?
You can make a nature check if you like.
With disadvantage?
No, you're no longer poisoned.
Phew.
How do you know she's probably
God.
popping mushrooms?
Well,
the
no,
whole
I
time?
don't know what she's
My
doing.
nature is baloney. Wait,
How?
why did I just
You're
roll
a
twice? Sorry.
fucking nature person.
No, 7.
Maybe do you get advantage because it's about the Fey realm and you're from the Fey realm?
No.
Sure.
But good looking out. I mean, kind of reminds you of the Fey realm a little bit, like just like the weirdness. But you know, you've never seen these types of trees necessarily. But it does kind of like, I don't know, the unfamiliar kind of alien landscape feel of it does kind of give you a little scratch of home.
It feels a little reminiscent, just a little bit, but it's different. I haven't quite seen them sort of this color before. It's beautiful.
We're here. As you all begin to step behind Annalyn, who'd been keeping a good 20, 30 paces ahead, who kind of leans back to announce that, and carefully kind of ushers you up over this hill. Beyond that, you can see this kind of choked clearing where most of the trees keep a fairly loosely consistent pattern of density throughout the jungle, with small patches that are open where either small ancient stone constructs that have fallen just into piles of rock over time, or gardens of dangerous looking plants that you are told to avoid as you go by have kind of taken root. But here you see there are cliffs, like small jutting cliffs that begin to rise out of this part of the jungle. And you know, the topography rises and falls at times, but here you can see you're not terribly far from the base of a mountain range, but this is the first kind of like large cliffside you see rising up. And in this rocky hillside, you can see it is overgrown with numerous dark roots that spill over the top, and there are trees that rise up above it. And as the roots kind of pour down and tangle, you can see these hanging gray vines that just kind of wrap around it. And as they kind of tether down, they wind in between the roots, and it kind of gives this odd, almost like a natural, like a cathedral look to it, built into the side of this rocky surface that itself has all manner of green and gray and brown moss that grows wherever elements of it are exposed to the rainy and damp elements.
One we climb until we
You do see...
That's right, we planned that.
You do see... Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. You see at certain portions there are bursts of jet black and very, very bright purple fungus, different than the ones that you had consumed that seem to almost, the purple ones pull out these long shelves. They almost reach like almost a full 2 feet out at the height from the surface they extend from, where the jet ones are almost like these small pods, these small puffballs that are just pitch black. It looks almost like a void until you see some of the light kind of glitter past and you can see the surface texture of it.
I feel like you should have those ones.
Okay.
You also can see that there is a half-collapsed rubble of ruined stone that crowns visibly carved a mason structure. It is built into the side of the rock. It has been swallowed by most of these vines, and you can see there is a portion of the cliff that is cracked and stones have fallen, and where it would look like a bit of natural erosion, you can see signs of intentional carving and shaping, where softer stones are smoothed, where you can see there are shapes that look like they are like a claw that reaches out and holds onto a stone bowl that is cracked and broken. You can see there's one of those large burgundy trees has fallen from the top and is like half angled over, and it's what would be its canopy of extremely bright blue is empty. The tree itself no longer rooted and died. It is now just this reaching, kind of extending, almost a bloodstream-looking extension of thin branches that reach out to nothing before they just fall
onto the ground before it. But you can see there is a cavern beyond where it is tumbled, and where some of these shapes of ancient carvings are still visible amongst the exterior. This looks to be an entranceway. As the group begins to emerge from the tree line and stepping out into this clearing towards it, Annalyn turns around and addresses the rest of you. I ask all of you to be respectful. If there's anything you wish to take, make sure you ask permission.
Insight check.
Can I give you advantage?
What do you know?
I'm just trying to read her.
Okay.
She's
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah.
I rolled a 6.
Total 6?
Well. Oh, no, 12.
Take advantage because I think we're all doing the same thing.
Assisting.
You can
roll the advantage of everyone if you're being assisted by the rest of the group.
Oh.
All heads just go
20.
Of course I'm gonna try.
Cool.
I'm gonna try to be very good. I'm really trying in my heart. That's what I'm feeling.
I can't even tell if you're lying to me as Ashley Johnson right now.
We'll never know.
Curious before we head in. How big is Annalyn's hammer? Just because I'm.
It's
Hammer and beam.
Yeah. It's maybe about 2 inches shorter than yours.
Okay,
but
it's thicker. Stop it. 12.
You're a child, Riggle. Child.
No, but I'd say the one major difference is the whereas yours is like an even hammer for both impacting
Oh, it's
sides.
a war hammer.
Yeah, this one has a wider front and like almost like not quite a pick at the end, but it has a thinner point of impact so that it can be more incisive pressure against whatever it wants to hit.
All right, and I probably have been watching a little. I've been watching a little bit the practice run.
A little bit, yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I assume it's nice and clean and well formed.
It is.
I know. I'm feeding all of it to you. I don't think I don't know that. Take it, motherfuckers.
Children.
Okay, just I'm just gonna take a second and just have the. All right, cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Feeling insecure, Ashton.
No. I'm excited to see how this whole thing works out.
Are you a little cold? It just seems.
Come on.
I was in the pool.
Should I, mine is bigger. Okay.
As you all approach this one exposed entryway, and it looks like amongst the tree that's fallen and the roots that kind of curl around it, there's a space about the size of Ashton. So, no one has to uncomfortably reach through, but you can see what may have been a larger entrance is now mostly covered. Each one of the Gorgine kind of like step in, and you watch as Manad kind of keeps the caboose region of it, kind of waiting for all of you to enter beforehand. After you.
Yeah. Chetney first?
Sure.
Yeah.
Party.
Boy,
He knows.
boy.
So, as you all begin to push into the interior of the structure, whatever it may be, you immediately are hit by the smell of stale water and damp earth and old musk, like bestial scents, things that may have been either cast or rubbed against rock or just left to mark something passing through and claiming it as territory, and to either vanish or still live somewhere in the shadow within.
Cat piss smell.
A little bit, amongst other sort of natural scents.
Okay, plus a couple
Great.
pounds.
Yeah.
You can see as you step through this long, winding tunnel, the first thing you notice is there are wooden supports, like little beams in the sides that you'd see on the inside of a mine shaft to a certain extent. One of them looks like it's kind of slightly splintered in places, but it's built into it. Not quite holding the same kind of ancient temple aesthetic that you would expect. You can see hanging from one of its kind of iron bars around it. It looks to be a lantern, but the glass element has been shattered.
That scaffolding start after a delay? Like when we entered, there were very, very old carvings, and it was a clear entrance.
Correct. As you stepped inside, maybe about 15 or so feet, you saw this beginning of wooden scaffolding. You push through no more than maybe 50, 60 or so feet, moving past edges of this long kind of carving tunnel. You begin to look around and see that this area might have been larger in places, but elements of it have collapsed inward. You can see there are piles of rock and stone. There's a brief moment where instinctually you worry that maybe this is unstable. But most of the cliff looked solid, and the areas here that are collapsed, it doesn't look like there are large signs of heavy structural damage or long cracks that wind through. Just elements of the walls that have seemingly fallen. You also, through the interior, notice bones.
Yep.
You can see ancient chunks of bone, flakes and shards, things that have just either been crushed through time or through many, many years have just been stepped on until it became just a shale that once existed within a creature, with chunks of larger bone here and there. At immediate glance, not entirely certain as to what these may have belonged to, until you see the first humanoid skull.
First one?
Humanoid skull.
Oh, okay.
But you see other skulls too here. You see things like wolves or coyotes, or another that looks almost like a massive feline skull. Some that may have fit like one of those Twilight tigers you saw earlier, but it is long, overgrown with like a moss, and you can see part of its jaw is missing, and it's just kind of like partially embedded into the stones that have gathered around it. It's been here for quite some time. In fact, a lot of these bones and some of the carvings on the inside look like they've been here for quite some time. You can see there are shapes. Nothing here is refined. There was no, societal architect that came in here and renovated and built a great temple. What you see are shapes that look like beasts. It looks like a wolf head that emerges from the rock, and it looks like it's been just over time ground into its shape, but it's round at the edges. It's more of the essence of a beast. Ancient enough to where the stonework here is interpretive and rough.
Use the word ancient for the bones. Are there any more recent mixed in? Years, decades?
You can make a perception check for me.
Do the carvings look similar, like they're from the same time period as that statue that was in the middle of town?
Jesus.
The statue in the middle of town you didn't take too much time to look at, but it looks like you do. I would say they're still building that statue.
Got it.
That one seemed actually pretty recent, but the process seems to be similar. It's more like just rough carving away at stone and chiseling at it with tools.
Natural
20.
A lot of these bones look very old, and a lot of them look like they've been either uncovered recently by someone sweeping through. When I say recently, I mean like in the past, number of years. But some of them look very new. Some of them look like creatures that may have died not more than a few months back, and the bones themselves look clean and smoothed over, like the insects and other creatures that exist off the decay of beings have cleaned it thoroughly, and it's now left here as another display of the cycle of life. You also see human skulls that look like they probably, with a natural 20, been here for a few decades. You see chunks of leather armor. You see rusted weaponry.
Any wounds in the skulls?
Yes, indeed. In fact, in one of the skulls, you see what looks to be a series of puncture marks that look like large teeth.
Teeth specifically. I mentioned that to the group.
You also see along the walls and bits of the wood with your natural 20, as you're kind of now inspecting the space around, there are gashes, strikes across the wood, some that could be bladed, some that could be claws. You do see one blade that is half still embedded in one of these kind of archway supports, but rust has taken it extensively.
Boy, it feels like a lot has happened in here. A lot.
But a short jaunt in, this tunnel opens into a larger antechamber. Here in this room, you can see there's a break in the ceiling about 40 feet above you, where you can just see a bit of the sky above. There's actually about a 2 or 3 foot hole that you can see out into the elements. Actually, from this view, you can't see any trees, but you do see almost like a single shaft of light that breaks down and kind of falls into the center of the room. Where the light hits, you can see there is water trickling through, whether it be just runoff from the recent storm or some element of a nearby brook above the cliff drains out here. But there is just a single ever-present trickle of water that just kind of partially mists as it falls, and it just topples down into the middle of the chamber, where you see standing a female humanoid statue that kind of resides in the middle of this central chamber. You see this woman kind of clutching something to her chest in the darkened, kind of shadowed interior. There looks to be arisen platforms underneath her to the center of this chamber, and there are numerous other statues, carvings, similar to what you've seen, that are standing on their own, but some of them have fallen over and crumbled with bits of the fallen rock. This ruin, the more you look around, again, going to take in your eyes adjusting to the light, this room has seen quite a bit of collapse. Whole sections of it seem to have slid inward, and you can see there are piles of loose stone and collapsed cavern that have kind of just mounted up at certain edges. Beneath them, you can see bones emerging. You can see broken furniture, bits of wood. You can see what looks to be metal tools that are kind of like rusted and lost amongst the rest of broken stone and pebble. You can see what looks to be a panther-like stone sculpture that is shattered into 4 pieces and has kind of been overgrown with bits of vine and moss. It is quite an interesting combination of old and new decay and nature reclaiming it all.
Is there any, as we're looking around, are there any, like, markings, runes, glyphs, pictographs, anything that looks like it was etched into this stone?
Go ahead and make a perception or investigation check.
24.
Nice. 24. You do not see any runes. There is nothing carved in here that appears to resemble language or draconic magical rune artistry. It looks like everything here is more simple, other than the statues themselves, which have a little more detail even into the things you saw before, especially the statue of the woman in the center. But you do see amongst the walls sconces, a number of metal iron sconces that are bolted into the stonework around the chamber. And you watch as the Gorgine kind of separate and begin to take out of their pouches dried wood and begin to kind of fill the sconces and prepare them to be lit. And as they do, they kind of go around the room and begin to light the kind of wall-mounted braziers to go ahead and begin to bring more of a flickering firelight into the chamber.
As we start to get more light in here, is there any obvious remnants of the Stratos throne strewn about?
I'd say still going off your even just your passive perception. Yes, in fact, most of the broken furniture and wood and the semblances of, more recent human remains that exist in here amongst the various other beast and animal remains look like there are signs that somebody once put in tables and chairs and bunks, and you're not sure how much further this chamber once went and what other rooms may have been accessible from here, but it looks like a lot of what was brought in here by the Stratos throne has been destroyed, sundered, or buried. But there are broken remnants of it, reminders of it. And
like barracks, mess hall, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you don't see anything specific like that, at least not within this central antechamber. And you see signs of other tunnels that may have gone further, but those have since collapsed inward and are cut off. But you do see broken piles of materials. You see old leather satchel bits that are overgrown with mold and moss at this point. Kind of the green vines that have come down to that open hole now have extended across the entire ceiling and just dangled down. And so, about 10, 12 feet above where you're standing to the 40-foot apex there is just hundreds and hundreds of vines that just hang and dangle at different heights above that one shaft of light that comes down into the center of the chamber. You can see the roots kind of breaking through parts of the above ground and the stonework of the ceiling from whatever elements of trees still exist above the top of this cliff.
Do you have to go talk to the statue or anything?
I don't think so. I'm just kind of waiting to take my cues from the the rest of the group.
Romance the statue. Maybe he has to fall in love with you.
Romance the stone, you say?
Yes, I do.
Take Ashton's hand.
Eat him not, please.
What?
No, you're fine. No.
Smash the statue?
You're in an aggressive place right now. I like it. Keep it.
I was enjoying the confidence. I was trying to just feel a little pickup.
I will walk towards the statue, though, and is there any sort of expression or body language? I mean, she's clutching her hands to her chest.
Yeah, so as you watch it, you see this is a woman. The statue itself standing probably about 6 foot tall. You see she has this kind of like majestic air about her, a plump frame, long curling hair that kind of goes past the shoulders and almost touches the ground around her. It seems like unfurl into the ground. She's clutching what looks like a scabbard to her chest with both hands, and just kind of just looking forward with this kind of maternal, like partial smile. It's almost welcoming. It definitely stands out against a lot of the rest of this temple. Make a religion check for me.
And like a empty scabbard, or is there a cross-hilt and a sword in there?
You do not see there's no signs of a sword or anything. It's just like she's clutching a scabbard to her chest.
Religion check. Why would I have advantage on that?
Does anybody here have a decent nature, by the way?
Anybody recall lore about deities, rites, and prayers?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
No.
How is that possible?
Whoa, a 19 and 20, so natural 20 for 22.
Alrighty.
Damn.
This is indeed a statue of Seratani, which is the Marquesian name of the Wild Mother.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, well.
She represents the goddess and entity that oversees, protects, and is the through line and spiritual cord to all things natural that exist in the wild. Whether it be seas or forests and jungles and everything that lives through the cycle of water to light to prey to hunter to the natural order and cycle that maintains everything beyond civilization. That is Seratani. That is the Wild Mother. And you recall when you were first discussing this temple with the Gorgine that they mentioned that this spirit, this actual savage spirit of this temple, Sayana, is a spirit entity that is either an extension of a creation of the Wild Mother, of Seratani. As you kind of approaching and looking over the statue, Annalyn begins to walk to you as the final bits of these kind of torch braziers are lit. He goes, "Welcome to the Chamber of Trials. This is where the Hunter's Bane is granted to those within the Gorgine who choose to walk the path of Hemocraft and control this beast and harness it for the hunt. Here is where offerings are made to the spirit, Sayadan. Here, the being of the savage heart. And its creator." And as she gestures to the statue, you look now below the statue on the floor, there are a number of metal and stone like platters, or just square, almost like stone platforms and little chunks of wide shale that can be used to carry things. And there's rotted fruit and bone where the meat has been plucked away, and coins, and all manner of just offerings that have been brought that are kind of clustered and piled around this central statue. And you watch as Annalyn kneels down, opens her pack, reaches in, and pulls out a bit of dried meat, a piece of platinum, and what looks to be a uniquely bright green fruit that kind of stands out and kind of sets them onto one of these little platters. She sits up and turns to you as the rest of the Gorgine come and kind of leave their own little offerings at the base of the statue.
Were we supposed to bring something?
I think it's for me.
This is where the balance of the gloom is watched over and maintained. You who seek to speak and commune with the spirit, leave an offering.
Yeah. So I'll go over and I'll also take out 2 platinum, got to be showing up. And I'll also pull out what looks like a small fang, but it's carved out of wood, intricately detailed. It's a wolf's tooth. The gum line represented perfectly. slight cavity marks because why would you brush your teeth? Place them. Place them at the base of the statue.
We make camp here for tonight.
Oh.
While we settle for the evening's turn. I believe it is your prerogative
You could
to meditate, to sit here in the antechamber and concentrate. Speak your mind, what you seek, what you wish to be rid of, and if you're lucky, the spirit's listening. With that, Annalyn turns around and the Gorgania begin to like take out their bedrolls and kind of choosing corners of the room. And there are like little pockets of the room where, you know, the kind of somewhat collapsed stone can be cleared away, and there's a few spots that look a little warmer towards the edge of the tunnel. And rest of you can do the same if you'd like.
How big is this chamber?
It's probably maybe like 100 to 150 feet across at places. Like it's not like a perfectly open chamber, since parts of it have fallen in. It kind of has an odd shape to it, but I'd say at places it's somewhere between, you know, close to 100 feet across, if not a little more, a little less.
Are we just supposed to go to sleep now, or are you staying up all night to pray?
Yeah, I think so. I'm in for the long haul.
We should stay up with you then.
No, I mean, listen, you need your rest, keep your strength. I mean, need your help. So let's consider it like I'll take the first of a few watches. And if something goes wacky, I'll sound the alarm.
But then you won't be ready for tomorrow. You'll be tired.
Maybe I'll just meditate for a little bit, and then I'll come tap when you.
Okay.
Good call.
All right. I mean, it's still like late afternoon, so.
Oh. Good night. 3:20.
It's like you can go to sleep now if you want to, but at least the Gorgania are setting up camp here and preparing to stay here for the time it takes for you to complete whatever your trials might be.
So the sunlight's coming through that hole at the top of the chamber, and it is sunlight. Like it is like clearly a.
Make a nature check.
Yeah, okay.
I mean.
Oh wow. 5.
Wow. Looks like sunlight, yeah.
I bet Sidon would appreciate, like, you know, planning and foresight. So since there's an entrance to this place, just in case when the sun goes down and the moon comes up, if that means bad stuff's coming in, we could always, you know, lay a little trap for something by the entrance.
You think he's going to come in and not appear or leap from her forehead? Drop from the ceiling?
I feel like it's all of the above.
Come out of the earth, splintering from beneath?
Well, maybe, yeah, but if this is the goddess of, like, nature, all that shit's out there.
Like she summons it in?
Could be.
All right.
Could come to the floor. Could be dramatic as hell. Could be a forehead beam. I don't know.
So you want us to make a trap?
Well, I mean, just, you know, maybe encumber the way a little bit. Fortune favors the sexy.
All right.
And the prepared.
I thought you were going to say the encumbered, but that works too.
There's a lot of choices, really.
I don't know if I have any.
I have
traps.
A bunch of ball bearings.
Okay, sure you
Because they
do.
are a
floor.
staple.
The Marisha Ray story. I have a bunch of ball bearings.
A pocket full of bearings.
I got a pocket full of caltrops as well.
Is that range?
That's right.
Okay.
These are all. Caltrops actually might be a really good idea because I bet whatever's going to come in isn't wearing shoes. Yeah, it does not strike me.
I can avoid.
Yeah, it doesn't work as
really
much.
I mean, depending on the animal too, you would just make the shoes out of the same animal. It really would just be doubling up.
Hard to plan when we know literally nothing about what's going to happen.
Yeah. I'm gonna go find a corner kind of away from everyone else.
Okay. Far left, far right? Where are you feeling?
And I'm just gonna sit down and open up my mind and see if I can sense anything in this chamber
Okay.
around us.
As you expand your consciousness a bit and let the voices in that may wish to look to press their way into your consciousness, you sense your allies, you sense the Gorgine, but nothing else of human intelligence piercing inward. So you feel confident, at least at the moment, that nothing of that level of intellect is in the immediate vicinity.
All right. I look at the scramble.
Ooh, sure, why not?
It's fine. Still there.
It's always good. It's
Fun
always
stuff.
fun. Probably done now.
I mean, that's a radius of only a few miles, so
It's like
That's how she's
1,000 feet, isn't it? It's like, is it like 1,000 feet or is it like 5 miles or something?
I'll have to look at the details again. It's not very long, but it's enough to the point where the fact that you don't see anything is a good sign.
I mean, do we have any extra rope?
You cut up all the rope, I think.
That's why I said extra. That was my rope.
Chance rope.
That I burned for the group.
You need a rope?
Well, I was just thinking
To make like a trip trap.
yeah, at the front. Anything comes rushing in, you can slow it down just a little bit.
I still have the immovable rod.
No, you don't. I took it off your dead body. I have it.
No, I have it. You gave it to me.
Can I have my rod back?
Yes,
I'm literally staring at it.
It's also in my equipment.
Well,
All right, we got
one of
two
you
each.
just
We
got two?
got two movable rods right now. Let's roll these.
You're
15.
rolling to role play giving back the rod.
11.
Cool.
So I have the rod.
I have a really interesting metal bar that doesn't do anything.
Fuck yeah.
Watch while I come up with a great fucking plan for this metal bar.
Yes.
Would you like it back?
I would like it back.
All right, I'm unequipping it. It's all yours.
But we could, I could put it on this end. We could tie a little rope or a vine and then fasten it to something on the other side. And then put ball bearings up front.
This sounds great. Let's do that.
All right, we do that.
All right. As you go ahead and set up that kind of entry, and you see there are like two splinter tunnels from where you came. There's the one you came through, and then there's one to the right of it that continues off kind of another direction, but you don't see any light source or anything in there. You haven't really checked it out.
I warn the rest of the Gorgine that I'm dumping a bunch of ball bearings.
They kind of
D&D's most dangerous weapon.
Of course, yeah.
You said there's another light source, but we haven't checked it out?
Well, there's another tunnel.
There's another tunnel. I thought everything was collapsed in, but there is a separate exit.
From where you're in the room, you don't see any other, and then you should turn back around from where you came. It looks like there's like a second entrance to the right of it, but it just kind of continues going in the direction of where you came from, just a little bit off to the right.
Okay.
Well, we should check that out.
I mean,
Yeah. I'll stay put.
Brief glance into it, about 15 or so feet, it is collapsed.
Okay.
It is a filled tunnel.
It goes forever. I'll be back in a while.
Okay.
As they finish lighting all the flames, and you can now smell the burning of incense, kind of a strong, pungent, almost like a sage smell with a strange kind of acerbic, citrusy smell, and it fills the air. It's strong, but it definitely seems to cleanse the musky sense that approached you as you arrived. As the kind of incense smoke begins to burn throughout the chamber, Annalyn turns around to you. Chetney. If you are to call upon Sayadon for guidance, you must concentrate, meditate, offer yourself to her mercy and wisdom. Shed your ego, and let your timeless nature bloom within. She steps away from the center, and the rest of the Gorgine kind of move. All five of them move to different corners of the chamber, almost forming a loose circle on the perimeter outside of it.
This is okay. I'll kind of go. I'll sit, sort of crisscross applesauce in front of the statue.
Before you start,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. It's just I want you to succeed so bad. I'm just gonna tap you on the shoulder and say, "You got this, pal." And I'll cast enhance ability. Boy, what do I enhance? What are you about to do? Talk?
Maybe.
Wisdom.
Yeah, wisdom couldn't hurt.
Wisdom? All right, yeah. I'll do that.
You're like,
my charisma's dog shit, but whatever.
You're installing a meditation.
No,
because you're about to be talking.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Well, I don't know.
Talking? Are you feeling? Are you thinking?
Charisma is my lowest at it.
I'll do charisma then.
Okay.
I don't know what that does. Was it a plus to something or advantage?
It's advantage on all.
Okay.
For now.
All right, I'll sit.
You'll shit?
I'll focus myself. Close my eyes. Sayadon. Chetney Poc-O-Pea here. C-Pop Industries. I know it's taken me 4 centuries to get to this point, but I'm here to make a difference.
How old is he?
I look at your influence as a blessing, and I want to be straight with you. I'm going to use this for personal gain, but only a little bit. I've seen a lot of shitty things in the world, and some of that stuff needs a force to push it back. I'd like to do that at times, and also I have personal beef I'd like to squash. On the side, after I've done some good. Who? I am willing and open to any wisdom that you could share.
There's a pause. You hear this loud crunching sound. You glance over and you see Manada sitting in the corner, kind of chomping on looks like some sort of a hard vegetable. And goes,
Bro!
Sorry, Ed. You're going to be there a while.
Am I doing this right so far?
I think so.
Okay.
Just be open, I guess, and patient. An hour goes by. 2 hours. And the tension that you felt as you arrived and set up for this begins to ease as you all kind of settle into almost a boundary between impatience and boredom at times. Eventually, the sunlight that peeks through shifts darker, and you can ascertain that the sun sets, leading into a moonlit night from within. Now the sunbeam, while it has faded, is replaced with a moonbeam. This moonbeam doesn't shift. In fact, Katha is not up in the sky, not at an angle that it would be visible at this point, but there is indeed a shaft of gentle moonlight that just kind of peers through
color?
that hole above and alights the interior of this darkened chamber.
What color?
The sconce light just kind of flickering.
I knew it.
You catch a sweetness in the air. The faint smell of sharp decay and honey, followed by a wave of strong iron. You feel a presence arrive. That's when we go to break.
Oh, presents arrived. That's Santa.
Oh my God.
The presents.
Werebees. It's time for werebees.
Oh, shoot.
Anyway.
Okay.
We'll come back to this after our break. It's been a little bit. We need to go to our break.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll see you here in a few minutes, and we'll pick up where that left off.
Once
See you in a
I
second.
no new ads, I'll go. Ooh, these are nice. Okay, I've seen this. Okay, I've seen this. Interesting.
Hey critters, Laura Bailey here to guide you through what's new in the Critical Role
Anything
shop.
new? It's nice stuff, but
This is pretty badass.
oh sure. Oh, the shirt.
I mean, the traveler always says impulse purchases are a good decision.
This holiday
Seamless,
season,
but-
give the gift of
Mhm.
effortless style.
Hmm.
Oh, so comfy cozy. This is seriously magical. Roll an investigation if you want. It's basically perfect.
Aw, they're so many.
And hey, if you want, you could head over to the Critical Role shop right now.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna call there. I gotta use the take a break stuff. These things, and and we might be looking into an initiative roll soon. So I do thank you for joining me. This is Frina Rinamancha, half-elven YouTuber, full elven right now, and I wish thee good fortune on the quest of life.